Relationships are a lot like a garden. Even the most intelligent men can make the mistake of neglecting what's essential, leading to withering connections. Imagine planting the most beautiful flowers, but forgetting to water them. Eventually they'll fade, despite your best intentions. In relationships, these missteps might not seem significant at first, but over time, they can erode the very foundation of your bond. Today, we're diving into 9 common relationship pitfalls that even the smartest men can fall into. Mistakes that, if avoided, could help your relationship not just survive, but thrive. Think about the last time you had an argument with your partner. Did you find yourself jumping in to solve the problem without really listening to her concerns? Or maybe you took control of the situation, thinking it would help, only to find it led to more tension. These are just some of the common pitfalls we'll be exploring, but stick with us, because understanding these mistakes can transform how you approach love, leading to a relationship that's stronger and more fulfilling than ever. Before we dive in, here's a quick favor. If you're committed to building a stronger, healthier relationship, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on crucial advice like this. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. 1. Lack of communication. Imagine being in a car with your partner on a long road trip, but neither of you is saying much. The silence isn't comfortable, it's tense, and you start wondering if something's wrong. This scenario might sound familiar because in relationships, when communication breaks down, it can feel like you're stuck in a silent, uncomfortable drive with no clear direction. Lack of communication is one of the most common yet overlooked mistakes that even the smartest men can make in relationships. Communication isn't just about exchanging information, it's the lifeblood of your connection with your partner. Think back to the last argument you had. Was it really about what was said, or was it more about what wasn't? Often, misunderstandings arise not from the words we use, but from the words we withhold. If you find yourself avoiding conversations to keep the peace, or because you assume your partner should already know what you're thinking, you're heading into dangerous territory. Consider this. When was the last time you genuinely checked in with your partner, not out of obligation, but out of a desire to understand her day, her feelings, and her thoughts? It's these regular, meaningful conversations that prevent small issues from snowballing into larger conflicts. Picture a couple who takes a few minutes each day to talk about their highs and lows. These little moments of connection can make all the difference. But here's the twist. Communication isn't just about talking, it's about listening, really listening. When your partner speaks, are you already thinking about your response, or are you fully engaged in what she's saying? Active listening shows your partner that you value her thoughts and feelings, creating a safe space for both of you to express yourselves openly. As we move forward, we'll explore more subtle but equally impactful mistakes that can undermine a relationship, even for the smartest of men. But first, consider how enhancing your communication could be the key to unlocking deeper intimacy and understanding in your relationship. Stay tuned, because next, we're diving into the common pitfall of trying to control everything, and why letting go might be the best move you can make. 2. Trying to control everything. Think back to the last time you planned a surprise for your partner. You had every detail mapped out, from the restaurant reservation to the perfect gift. But instead of the joyous reaction you expected, she seemed a bit off, maybe even frustrated. Why? Because what was meant to be a thoughtful gesture ended up feeling like you were making decisions without her input, like you were trying to control everything. It's a common scenario where the intention is good, but the execution can lead to unintended consequences. In relationships, the urge to take control often stems from a desire to protect or to ensure things go smoothly. But when men try to control every aspect of the relationship, whether it's making all the plans, solving every problem, or deciding what's best for both partners, it can backfire. This behavior, though well-intentioned, can make your partner feel undervalued or even disrespected. She might start to feel like her voice doesn't matter or that her opinions aren't considered. Control is often about fear. Fear that things won't go right, fear of uncertainty, or fear of failure. But relationships aren't meant to be perfectly controlled. They're meant to be a partnership, a collaboration. Think of the most successful relationships you know. Are they dominated by one person making all the decisions? Or are they balanced with both partners contributing equally? Here's a simple yet effective shift. Instead of trying to control everything, focus on collaboration. When you involve your partner in decision-making, not only do you show that you value her perspective, but you also build a stronger, more united relationship. Ask yourself, how often do you make decisions on your own, thinking it's for the best, without considering how your partner might feel? What if you started asking for her input more often, treating her as an equal partner in every decision? As we wrap up this section, think about how letting go of the need to control everything could actually bring more peace and harmony into your relationship. Up next, we'll dive into the importance of emotional intelligence and why neglecting it can lead even the smartest men into trouble. This is where the real strength in a relationship lies, so you won't want to miss it. 3. Neglecting emotional intelligence. Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a room and immediately sense the mood, while others seem completely oblivious? That ability to read the room, to understand and respond to emotions, is what we call emotional intelligence, or EQ. In relationships, emotional intelligence isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must. Yet even the smartest men can sometimes overlook this crucial aspect, leading to unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. Consider this: you're at a family gathering, and your partner seems unusually quiet. Instead of asking her what's wrong, you assume everything's fine and continue mingling. Later, you find out she felt unsupported, perhaps because she was dealing with something that you missed. This is a classic example of how a lack of emotional intelligence can create rifts in a relationship. It's not that you didn't care, it's that you didn't pick up on the subtle cues that something was wrong. Emotional intelligence is about more than just being in tune with your own emotions. It's about recognizing and responding to your partner's emotions too. Think of it as a radar that helps you navigate the complex emotional landscape of your relationship. When you can sense how your partner is feeling and respond appropriately, you build trust and deepen your connection. On the flip side, ignoring these emotional signals can make your partner feel misunderstood or neglected. Here's a simple way to start boosting your emotional intelligence. Practice active listening. The next time your partner is sharing something with you, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions or relate it back to your own experiences. Instead, focus entirely on what she's saying. Notice her tone, her body language, and the emotions behind her words. Ask yourself, how often do you really listen to understand rather than to respond? As we prepare to move into the next section, where we'll explore why being dismissive of your partner's feelings can be a relationship killer, consider this: improving your emotional intelligence isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about creating a relationship where both partners feel seen, heard, and valued. Stay with us, because understanding this can fundamentally change the way you relate to your partner. 4. Being dismissive of her feelings. Picture this. Your partner comes to you after a long day, visibly upset. She starts to share her frustrations, but before she can finish, you cut in with, "It's not that big of a deal," or "You're overreacting." You might think you're helping by putting things into perspective, but to her, it feels like you've just dismissed her emotions entirely. This is one of the most common mistakes men make in relationships, downplaying or dismissing their partner's feelings. Being dismissive isn't always intentional. Often it comes from a place of wanting to fix things quickly or avoiding uncomfortable emotions. However, when you brush off your partner's feelings, it can make her feel unheard, undervalued, and even disrespected. Over time, this behavior can lead to a buildup of resentment and distance in the relationship, as your partner might start to feel that her emotions don't matter to you. Let's take a moment to reflect. How often do you find yourself minimizing your partner's feelings because you think it will help her move on faster? What if, instead, you took a moment to really listen, to acknowledge what she's going through, even if it seems trivial to you? For example, if she's upset about something at work, rather than saying, "It's just work," you could say, "I can see that this is really bothering you. Do you want to talk about it?" Acknowledging your partner's feelings doesn't mean you have to agree with everything she says, but it does mean that you recognize her emotions as valid and worth discussing. This simple shift can make a huge difference in how connected and supported she feels in the relationship. It's about creating an environment where she feels safe to express herself without fear of being dismissed or judged. As we move forward, we'll explore another common pitfall: focusing too much on solutions instead of just offering support. This is where understanding the balance between being a problem solver and being a supportive partner becomes crucial. Stick with us, because mastering this balance could be the key to becoming the partner she truly needs. 5. Focusing too much on solutions. Imagine this scenario. Your partner comes home, clearly frustrated after a long day at work. She starts telling you about the various issues she faced: her boss's unreasonable demands, a project that went sideways, and the general stress that's been piling up. Almost instinctively, you start offering solutions. "Have you tried talking to your boss about this?" you suggest. Or, "Maybe you should delegate some of those tasks." But instead of feeling relieved, she seems more upset. What just happened? This is a classic mistake that many men make: focusing too much on solving problems rather than simply offering support. When your partner shares her struggles, she's often looking for empathy, not solutions. She wants to feel heard and understood, to know that you're there for her emotionally, not just logically. By immediately jumping into problem-solving mode, you might unintentionally send the message that her feelings aren't valid, or that her problems can be easily fixed with the right strategy, which can come across as dismissive. Consider this. Have you ever been in a situation where you just needed to vent and someone immediately tried to fix things for you? It likely felt frustrating because in that moment you weren't looking for answers. You were looking for connection. This is exactly how your partner feels when she shares her concerns, and your first response is to provide a solution. Sometimes the best way to support her is to simply listen, acknowledge her feelings, and offer a comforting presence. To shift your approach, try asking her what she needs at that moment. A simple, "Do you want advice, or do you just need someone to listen?" can make all the difference. This not only shows that you're attuned to her needs, but also gives her the space to express what kind of support she's seeking. As we transition to the next section, where we'll discuss the danger of taking your partner for granted, think about how you can balance being both a supportive listener and a helpful problem solver. This balance is key to fostering a relationship where your partner feels valued and understood. Stay with us, because understanding this dynamic could be the difference between a strong connection and one that slowly unravels. 6. Taking her for granted. Imagine this. When you first started dating, every little thing she did seemed magical. Her laugh, the way she remembered your favorite snack, or how she always knew when you needed to talk. You showered her with compliments, appreciation, and affection. But over time, life got busier, and those gestures of gratitude became less frequent. Without realizing it, you started taking her, and all the little things she does, for granted. It's a slow drift that can weaken even the strongest relationships. Taking your partner for granted is one of those subtle mistakes that can creep up on anyone, especially in long-term relationships. It's not that you've stopped caring, it's just that the initial excitement has worn off, and now you're caught up in the routine of daily life. But here's the thing, no one likes to feel unappreciated. When your partner feels like her efforts go unnoticed, it can lead to feelings of resentment, and over time, this can create emotional distance between you. Think about this. How often do you thank your partner for the things she does? Whether it's making your favorite meal, handling a stressful situation with grace, or simply being there for you when you need her, these are all moments that deserve recognition. Even a simple "thank you" or "I really appreciate you" can go a long way in making her feel valued and loved. It's important to remember that appreciation isn't just about saying the words, it's also about showing it through your actions. Surprise her with a small gesture, like a note left on the kitchen counter, or planning a date night, to show her that you don't take her presence for granted. These small acts can reignite the connection and remind both of you why you fell in love in the first place. As we move on to the next section, where we'll discuss the importance of quality time, think about how much your relationship could improve by simply expressing more gratitude. Stay tuned, because spending time together is more than just being in the same room. It's about deepening your bond, and we'll explore how to make that happen effectively. 7. Neglecting the importance of quality time. Remember the early days of your relationship, when just being in each other's presence felt like the most exciting thing in the world. You'd go out of your way to spend time together, whether it was a spontaneous weekend trip, a cozy movie night, or simply talking for hours about anything and everything. But as time goes on, life gets busy, and those moments of quality time can start to slip through the cracks, replaced by the demands of work, routines, and responsibilities. Neglecting to prioritize quality time is one of the most common mistakes in long-term relationships. It's easy to assume that being in the same room, perhaps watching TV or scrolling through your phones, counts as spending time together. But real quality time is about more than just physical proximity. It's about connection. It's about engaging with each other in meaningful ways that strengthen your bond and remind you both why you're together in the first place. Consider this. When was the last time you truly unplugged from the distractions of everyday life to focus solely on your partner? How often do you plan activities that both of you enjoy, where the goal is not just to pass the time, but to create lasting memories together? Whether it's a regular date night, a hobby you both share, or simply taking a walk and talking about your day, these moments are the glue that holds your relationship together. Quality time doesn't have to be elaborate or expensive. In fact, some of the most meaningful moments can be the simplest ones: cooking a meal together, having a heartfelt conversation, or even just sitting in comfortable silence, fully present with one another. It's these small, consistent efforts that keep the connection alive and prevent the relationship from becoming stagnant. As we prepare to explore the next section, where we'll tackle the often tricky subject of financial issues in relationships, think about how you can start prioritizing quality time today. What can you do this week to make your partner feel valued and cherished? Remember, it's not just about the amount of time you spend together, but the quality of that time that truly matters. Stay with us, because up next, we're diving into how money matters can make or break a relationship, and what you can do to keep things on track. 8. Not addressing financial issues. Imagine this scenario. You and your partner are planning a vacation. She suggests a destination that's a bit on the pricier side, but you hesitate. Instead of discussing your concerns, you reluctantly agree, thinking it'll all work out. However, as the costs start adding up, so does your stress, leading to tension that spills over into other areas of your relationship. Money, often seen as a taboo topic, is one of the most common sources of conflict in relationships. Yet many couples avoid discussing it until it becomes a major issue. Financial issues can be tricky to navigate, especially when both partners come from different financial backgrounds or have different spending habits. Maybe one of you is a saver and the other is more of a spender. Or perhaps you've always been financially independent and now you're adjusting to sharing expenses with someone else. These differences can lead to misunderstandings, resentment, and even a sense of betrayal if not addressed openly and early on. Consider this. How often do you sit down with your partner to discuss your financial goals, spending habits, or budget? It might not be the most romantic conversation, but it's essential for a healthy relationship. Open and honest communication about money can prevent many common financial conflicts from escalating. Whether it's deciding on a budget, planning for future expenses, or discussing how to handle debt, being on the same page financially can strengthen your relationship. One way to approach this is by setting regular money talks with your partner. During these discussions, you can review your finances, set goals, and address any concerns that might be brewing beneath the surface. These talks shouldn't just focus on the numbers, but also on your individual attitudes toward money. Ask yourself, do you and your partner view money as a tool for security, freedom, or something else entirely? Understanding each other's perspectives can help you find common ground. As we wrap up this section, think about how addressing financial issues head-on could transform not only your relationship with money, but also with your partner. Up next, we'll explore the importance of respecting personal space in a relationship, a balance that, when struck, can bring harmony and mutual respect. Stay with us, because understanding this delicate balance is crucial for a thriving partnership. 9. Ignoring the need for personal space. Think back to a time when you were overwhelmed with work, social obligations, or just the general busyness of life. Remember how much you craved a moment to yourself, to unwind and recharge. Now imagine if you never got that moment. If someone was constantly by your side, demanding your attention. Even in the healthiest relationships, everyone needs a bit of personal space. Yet, this is an area where many men unknowingly stumble, not realizing the importance of allowing both themselves and their partners the freedom to breathe. In any relationship, closeness and connection are vital, but so is respecting each other's need for independence. Imagine a tightrope walker, carefully balancing as they move forward. This is much like maintaining the delicate balance between togetherness and personal space. Too much togetherness, and the relationship can feel suffocating. Too much space, and you risk drifting apart. Personal space isn't just about physical distance, it's also about emotional and mental space. It's the freedom to pursue individual interests, hobbies, and time with friends without feeling guilty or causing tension. When you ignore this need, it can lead to feelings of resentment or loss of self-identity within the relationship. Your partner might start to feel like they're losing touch with who they are outside of the relationship, which can create friction. Ask yourself, when was the last time you encouraged your partner to take some time for herself, to do something that she enjoys alone? Or when did you last carve out time for your own hobbies and interests? Encouraging each other to maintain individuality doesn't weaken your bond. In fact, it strengthens it. It allows you both to bring fresh energy and new experiences back into the relationship. As we prepare to conclude, think about how embracing the concept of personal space could bring more harmony and mutual respect into your relationship. Up next, we'll wrap up everything we've discussed and talk about how to apply these insights to build a stronger, more fulfilling partnership. Stay with us, because the final piece of advice might just be the key to unlocking a deeper connection with your partner. Relationships are like intricate tapestries woven together with threads of communication, trust, understanding, and respect. But even the most beautifully crafted tapestry can unravel if we aren't careful with how we handle it. Over the course of this video, we've explored the 9 common mistakes that even the smartest men can make in relationships. Mistakes that, if left unchecked, can slowly pull at the seams of your connection. From the importance of clear communication to the delicate balance of personal space, each of these aspects plays a crucial role in maintaining a healthy, thriving relationship. It's easy to fall into these pitfalls, often without realizing it, but the good news is that with awareness and effort, you can avoid them. Think back to what resonated with you the most. Was it the reminder to truly listen instead of just offering solutions? Or perhaps it was the need to appreciate your partner and never take her for granted. As you move forward, remember that relationships are not about perfection, but about growth. It's about making small, consistent efforts that, over time, build a stronger, more resilient bond. I encourage you to take a moment now to reflect on your own relationship. What small changes can you make today that will have a big impact tomorrow? Whether it's scheduling regular quality time, having open discussions about finances, or simply giving each other a bit more space to breathe, these adjustments can make all the difference. If you found this video helpful and want to continue improving your relationship, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below. What's one thing you're going to work on after watching this video? And remember, the journey of a relationship is ongoing, filled with opportunities to learn, grow, and love even deeper. Stay tuned for more insights and tips on how to build the relationship you deserve. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.